What's up, guys? So, if you're planning a trip to Manali in the month of July 2025, this video is made for you. And if you have questions related to the weather, what you should be expecting in terms of the temperature, the rainfall, the road condition, the places that you should be visiting, then keep on with this video because you'll get all the information that you possibly need before planning your trip to Manali in July 2025. Now, one very important thing to understand and remember is that monsoon has arrived on time this year in Manali. It's already been raining since the 20th of June. The good news is that the lush greenery is back in Manali. The bad news is that flash floods and cloud bursts have already started in places near Sange and in Spiti Valley. So, if you're someone who's planning on making Manali your base to go to Ladakh or to reach Spiti Valley, it could be dicey because of the road condition caused by these heavy rains and flash floods, which have become frequent and synonymous to Himachal since the last few years. Now, very important thing to understand is that the temperature in Manali in the month of July will range in the daytime anywhere between 15 to 25 degrees, while in the night the temperature will drop from anywhere between, I would say, 7 degrees to 12 degrees. Now, this temperature fluctuation in the day and in the night will depend entirely on where you are and what kind of accommodation you're staying in. Accommodation, I would say, is a massive game changer over years, because if you're camping or you're staying in huts, it'll be usually a lot more colder because the weather gets into these tents, and it's usually very windy in Manali in the month of July because of the rain. Ideally, I would personally say do not stay anywhere close to the riverbank. So avoid going camping along the Bias or anywhere close to the Bias in the month of July, because these flash floods, even if your campsite is, I would say, 200 or 300 meters away from the river swells up to a level where it will become really, really dangerous and be a very big concern for you when these rains turn into a flood, which is highly possible because it's already looking pretty grim with how things have started in the fag end of June, with a lot of roads being blocked in Himachal with the rain that has started. The good thing is that you'll find plenty of lush greenery all over Manali. If you're planning on going there and you've already booked your tickets and you do not want to cancel, just make sure that you have a few banker days in hand. These banker days will come really handy in case if anything goes wrong and the roads are blocked, so you do not end up missing your return train or bus or your flight back home. Now, when it comes to the humidity, it is pretty humid in the month of July because of the rain. You need to, by default, be carrying your raincoat along with your umbrella. Carry a good umbrella because it's so windy that a small city umbrella will end up breaking, and that's going to be a real disaster because you'll have to buy a really expensive umbrella in Manali. Now, when it comes to rainfall, you can expect rainfall to be, I would say, a good 60% of the day, sometimes even 80% of the day it'll be raining. And rain in Manali is cold rain, so be prepared for cold rain that can hit your body if you do not have the required gear. Shoes are very, very important. Make sure that you have waterproof shoes with you, and shoes that come with very good grip. If you're going in for waterproof shoes, and you do not need to worry about the grip then, because by default these shoes come with excellent grip. But if you're someone who's planning on cheaping out on your shoes and are okay with getting your casual city shoes along, it's going to be a nightmare, because once your shoes get soaked, it's going to take an eternity for it to dry up. It might dry up after you reach back home, but definitely not on the trip. So avoid carrying shoes which are not meant for monsoon. If you're someone who's planning on traveling around with Crocs or floaters, be very mindful because it can be very slippery and greasy around in certain places, which can lead to a fatal accident and really hamper your entire holiday along with everything that comes with it. You can end up breaking a bone also, so do not go there with bad footwear. Now, when it comes to the places that you should be visiting, you can visit places in and around Manali like Harimba Temple, Old Manali. You can definitely go to Sissu. You can also go all the way up to Rohtang if it is open. You can visit Vashist. You can go to Manikaran and Kasol if the road again is open and there's no problem along the way. Nagar is also a good place that you can visit. So if you're just planning on going to Manali for Manali itself, that's like old Manali, new Manali, and the places that I've just mentioned, then I would say a good 4 to 5 days is enough for you to go and explore. Keep in mind that nature is not in anybody's hand, and rainfall is something that nobody can predict, whether it's going to end up into a flash flood or it's going to be something even worse, or just going to be a passing shower. So that's something that you will have to take into account yourself. You cannot predict that. But when it comes to the kind of gear that you need, like I mentioned earlier, you definitely need your winter wear. You also need a woolen wear, because in the night it's going to be really, really cold. If you can carry clothing that will dry up fast, like lycra clothing, because cotton clothes and woolen clothes will end up really getting soaked, and if that's the case, it's going to be a disaster. Avoid carrying a pair of jeans, because even if the jeans get wet, they'll take very, very long to dry up in this kind of weather. Now, if you're someone who's planning on going to Ladakh and Manali, from Manali or from Spiti, and you're worried, it's a chance that you have to take, because this is how the weather has become in Manali. It's very unpredictable. But at the same time, if you're planning on going hiking and trekking, make sure that you're going with a reputed organization, and at the same time, you're not planning on going alone, because it's very, very slippery and dangerous to be going on any kind of trek around Manali in the monsoon. Be it even to a simple waterfall like Jogni waterfalls can be really dangerous if you're going there alone. If you're going in a group, it's safe, but just do not be foolish and go to the cliff ends to get a photograph, which can then end up being really vital to your life and put everybody else traveling with you, their lives, in risk. When you're in Manali in the July, you can expect the costing of the rooms to be really low, because July is completely off season, so you'll get a decent room with a view for as low as around 800,000 rupees. In fact, even the cost of the Volvo buses will drop to around 1,000 to 1,200 rupees on the online portal. So it's a very good time to be going there if you're someone who's on a strict budget and do not want to overspend. If you're planning on going to Sissu in Lahore, that's also going to be really affordable. A taxi up and down an Alto should cost you anywhere between 2,500 to 3,000 rupees. So that's how affordable it is. Price point wise, July is the ideal month to be going there, because it's really, really affordable in terms of money value. But in terms of natural hazards that happen, it's pretty high. So the risk factor is very high, because landslides can happen anytime, and these landslides can block the roads for a few hours to a few days. Such is the case, because when the dams overflow, the roads get destroyed, and you can be stuck there for as long as even a couple of weeks because of this. This is the reality of what it could be in Manali, and what I've just explained is the worst case scenario for Manali. This is so that if you are someone who's planning on going there and are skeptical, you can watch this video and take a decision yourself. It's nothing that I hate about Manali, or nothing that I have anything against the place, but this is how the reality of Himachal has become in the last few years. And this video is to help you take a decision, so that you do not end up going to Manali and getting stranded over there, and then having your family and your near and dear ones worrying about your safety. So take a decision for yourself and decide what's best for you. Now, if you're someone who's planning a trip to Manali and need any kind of assistance, you can click on the link in the description. We do have trips happening to Manali and Spiti Valley. You can click on the link and go to our website and directly book. From our website, you can even WhatsApp our team and have your queries resolved related to our trip. Please don't WhatsApp our team from the website and ask queries related to rainfall and snowfall, because that's something that we really cannot predict, and that's not in our work agenda. If you have any personal queries related to your own personal trip to Manali, you can click on the link in our description, which will take you to a consultancy option which we have. You can book the consultancy. It's a paid consultation that we have, and you can get on a phone call with one of our travel experts who will help you and solve your queries. If you have any general doubts or worries or concerns, you can leave a comment in the comment section, and if it is in our capacity, we will do our best to reply to you at the earliest. So now, till our next video about Manali, stay happy, stay blessed, and stay safe.